Hey everyone, it's Richard Metalfan here, bringing you guys yet another old school album review, the last one for today. And as you can see below the title, today we're going to be looking into this album's 30-year anniversary. It's from one of my favorite bands slash artists. Um, and today, as you can see below the title, today we're going to be talking about The Eye by King Diamond, the band's fifth album, released on October 30th, 1990 through Roadrunner Records. Now, this album, like with many other King Diamond albums, is a concept album. And it sort of like continues to have like a major storyline like other of his albums, though I feel like it's told differently from what I've heard. And the themes of his the two albums before that were being told from the perspective of the main characters, but this one is told from the view of the narrator, and it sort of like talks about themes of Christian atrocity, and also alleged witches and sexual abuses against the nun are right here. And it talks about like a character, they're finding a necklace called the eye that allows to see events in the past and stuff. And I'm not even gonna bother reading it. I mean, it's on Wikipedia. Just look it up there. Let's just talk about the album itself. Fantastic as always. The King can do no wrong. And King Diamond is just as great as ever. Like the dude still sounds amazing. The guitar work on this album is tight from Andy LaRocque and Pete Black. But just like the soloing and just the riffs they come up with is great. The bass is pretty audible from Hal Patino's bass. His bass is pretty audible. And drumming wise, Snowy Shaw, he actually played drums on this album. The drumming is pretty superb. So without further ado, let's dive into this album track by track. Now, starting things off is the song "Eye of the Witch," which really sets like the tone and the theme of the album, with a little eerie keyboard part, which kind of reminds me of anything from like a church organ. And this is like the first album that really features like the keyboard as like being like the main instrument on here. But and its presence is huge, and it pretty much gives like the very haunting mood with this track. And then we move on to the next song being The Trial, the old chamber ardente. Hey, and I feel like King uses his character's voices great. And here, as I feel like it talks about a conversation between Nicholas de la Reme and the accused witch named Jean d'Aubusson. And I feel like the voices that I use, again, gets the idea that the supposed witch is innocent. And I love how the King plays 5 characters in here, which makes it feel real. Then we go into Burn, which is a real rocker, and there's like a very effective keyboard part in the middle of the song, and there's like I don't know, it kind of reminds you of like as if a bunch of devils are playing violins and around, and there's like a line that indicates they say the devil is here tonight. They let him play his violin. Is so wild. Can't get more metal than that. Two Little Girls, which it kind of sounds like a bit softer than what we heard so far, but it's a really good song, and it's just very chilling and tender, and it's a really great song, one of my favorites on this album. Into the Covenant, which starts off with some great drumming, and King's performance here is really great, and just the ending of this song is really just powerful and has a lot of great momentum to it. Father Picard has some great aggressive guitar work, and it's sort of like well placed breaks, and the lyrics are really great. Right, especially like "Drink My Sweet Holy Wine," which is a great part of the lyrics. Behind These Walls, which starts off with another keyboard riff, kind of like how "Eye of the Witch" does, and the next riff, in my opinion, is like the really what makes the song go. It has some really great galloping guitars, which kind of reminds me a little bit of like Maiden, and then the keyboards just in the background, and King really just has his signature falsetto. And the song just closes out with a great melodic guitar solo from Andy LaRocque. The Meetings, which is pretty much one of the stronger and heavy tracks on here, and it pretty much forms sort of like the culmination of the story, where you sort of like vibe and stuff. And then we move on to Insanity, which is just a little acoustic instrumental piece, and which is done by Andy LaRocque, and he's just a really catchy. 1642 Imprisonment, which starts off with some clean guitar and some keys, and then the verse riff begins, and it kind of reminds you of a little bit of like early Merciful Fate and Celtic Frost Frost. It's so fucking catchy. And then the album closes with The Curse, which I think is a great way to end this album. And the middle of the song has a song part that makes you really want to headbang, and some really great lyrics like "The curse of the I will take you back in time." And it's an interesting line that will just make you feel like you're actually in the story, or you're being told. Now, overall, The Eye by King Diamond, another great album, a great way to kick off the new decade. As I forgot, this is the first album released in the 1990s. As I said, this came out in October 30th, 1990. So if I were to give this album a score, I'm going to give The Eye by King Diamond a solid 9 out of 10. So, yeah, that's my review of the album, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the album, and I'll see you all in the next video. And as always, keep it metal.